We will return after the short break.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
on the point of order.
Honorable
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Welcome back. This is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network, and we are going to be looking at these numbers of issues today. From Delta State, police shot at Ughelli North protesters, 5 hospitalized. From Lagos State, worker trapped underground while clearing. On education, siblings beat teacher, imprisoned admin for discipline. These are the issues we'll be looking at today, and joining me in this conversation is a public affairs analyst I will introduce to you after this short break. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Society Watch on Atlantic. Atlantic Television Network. Joining me this afternoon is a public affairs analyst. I'm talking about Dr. Gosson Kelechi Nwogo.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being with you today. Yeah.
Thanks for joining me. All right, the first story for today is from Delta State. In Otari Community, Delta State, 5 women were in critical condition at Central Hospital, Gele, after police allegedly shot at protesting women. The women were one with leaves and protesting against the police for illegal arrest, molestation, and intimidation. They complained about excessive police roadblocks, illegal arrest, and extortion in their community. The expressed their demand to remove the police station due to their inhuman treatment. That's quite unfortunate. The women want police to leave Otari Road because they are tired of their excessive intimidation and illegal arrest and molestation of their children and husband. You know, a lot of persons will say, we want security personnel in our community to be able to protect and guard us. But in their own case, they want them out of the community because they are complaining of excessive extortion, intimidation, and inhuman act. And we know about increment of salaries for police and armed forces. So one would say, is that not enough to actually stop all this inhuman treatment and all this alleged extortion? What is your take on this story?
Yeah, I think the police are very insatiable in terms of issues of money, and no matter the increment they may have to get from the government, it will be difficult to satiate their drive for extortions, money through dubious ways, and the high cost of commodities due to the failure of commuters who are transporting these goods to access their communities easily. And as a result of this, the women decided to take the bull at the horn by protesting. It is the right of every human being to protest once you feel maltreated, intimidated, and so on. This issue is a common issue in the country. I remember I did a work on proliferation of police checkpoints and distribution of agro products in Nigeria. And the level of extortion from the police is unbecoming. And the government at the top are not really raising their voice and showing the displeasure, because the police have taken it as a routine thing, as their part of their activities, but it's an illegal activity, unprofessional activity that is not part of the training they have received. And so coming to inflict this hardship on the community women is not acceptable. And the government of this present time in the country, I want them to really investigate and interrogate these policemen that have engaged themselves in shooting unarmed females who are protesting the high costs of commodities as a result of the impacts of police extortion and police brutality and all of that. So it is very improper for police to engage in such kind of acts. It is something that everybody in the society must have to frown at. And I am saying that everywhere, not just in Delta State, all over the country, that people of high caliber should raise their voice, both in the security, in economy, in all of these social institutions. They have to show their bitterness toward this act that is heinously done against these women.
Dr. Gosson, do you think it's going to be that easy to actually stop this menace that has come to stay? Because you see most of these tricycle riders, complaining about alleged extortion, and people just keep complaining. Like you said, that they are not taking it as part of their activities, part of their duties. So is it going to be quite easy for people, for it to stop? So
Yeah,
as to say.
looking at how it has spread across the country, it's becoming, in fact, it is a disease, so to speak. Is one of the, call it decline or decadence in our society in terms of upholding morality and transparency in terms of following the rule of law in the country. So we see that it's not going to be so easy actually to put a stop to this. But the police, Inspector General of Police and all the commissioners in the states can set up a monitoring team. It was once done, I remember during the era of President Obasanjo, there were special teams that were dispatched. They call them the IG team. They are the IG monitoring team. I think they are still in existence, but they are ineffective. As at that time, they were going to across. I usually see them park and then they rush to meet those policemen at the checkpoint. And policemen, those officers at the checkpoint, citing this IG monitoring team, some of them, they run inside the bush because some of these road checkpoints are illegal. You can imagine from one pole before you get to the next pole, men weren't coming publicly to take these bribes and money from, extorting money from these road users. So we can start from somewhere. If the IG can revisit that policy of monitoring these excesses of the police officers on the highways and all these communities around, if they should be monitored, it will begin to reduce it. And again, there should be a kind of disciplinary committee or panel from or among the police commission that will have to penalize any officer that is indicted and then prosecuted and found guilty. Such officer should be, either demoted, imprisoned, or be sacked out of the police
One would
services.
say that if something is being implemented and it is not effective, there is every tendency that it will stop working. Yeah. Like you said, that this particular patrol team, it was actually working, and of course, it was effective. So why do you think it's suddenly
yes, because of changes in government. Now the former IG has gone. So all his policies, all the plans, everything will cease. So these are the usual problems we face in the country. There is no continuity of programs that will benefit the society, the people. So such terminations of policies and programs that are meant to alleviate certain of these menace. So the IG will set up these committees, and if the incoming IG, when there is any change of government, fails to continue with it, is going to, be a setback. So that's the reason why the continuity has been stalled.
So you said that this pattern of this issue of extortion is now spread worldwide and
nationwide.
Nationwide,
yeah.
And they are seeing it as one of their duties, right? So do you think that the people at the top are not aware of this? Because day in, day out, people are complaining about extortion. I remember when they came up to say that it is not their members, rather is the constabularies, that a particular wing of these security operatives that are supposed to be working inside the communities All right. And majority of persons complaining about extortion is on the highway, the federal highway. And if indeed it is constabularies, as they said, the constabularies do not work on the highways. They work inside communities. So don't you think, do you think they are not aware of all these activities, but maybe they do not have the measures to cop it?
Yeah, the constabulary they are accusing just not having the full influence like the formal police that we have in the country. These constabularies are careful because we have them, we know them.
They don't even have firearms.
They don't have firearms. So the officers that extort money, they have firearms. They are the full uniform officers, and they are stationed in their various divisions of the police barracks. So they, in communities like in Delta State at Oteri, it is the police station there that the officers came from. And there is no way there is going to be any other police officers from other stations that will come because they have their jurisdictions. They have their local areas they are to cover. So the officers, if they are denying that it is not them, then I think they are very, very untruthful.
But do you think the masses has a major role to play in this issue of extortion? Because you see some of them just say, oh, now my man, take this, have this, and all of those. So do you think they are part of those people contributing to this, encouraging this issue?
No, let me tell you this. Have you heard about cases where motorists fail to give police 100 naira, and then you see the police shoot the driver? Yes, pull the trigger. There was a case sometimes in Anambra State. I can't exactly remember the date now, but it happened that the driver of the van or vehicle failed to give the officer 100 naira, and out of anger, he opened the fire on them. They lost about 3 persons on that very day. So they, like you said, are the people at the top not aware? They are aware. They know it. Are they not applying the roads? They are applying. They see what is happening. But just because the corrupt system we find ourselves is tolerating all of these menace, it is improper actually to do that. I remember a case when I drove down, I was traveling, and I met a police checkpoint. You know what happened? Somebody was accosted and was questioned about papers and all that. And the guy failed to give the papers, and then at the end, they bargained to settle some money. You know what the police officer said? He said the guy should move this way because there is a camera that was stationed.
Wow.
So that the camera will not capture it. So immediately I started gazing to find, and I saw the camera. So he said the guy should move away from the camera. Now let me say this. It is not that the motorists are happy giving this money. They aren't happy. They are just doing it under intimidation, under compulsion, because if you don't do it, there is going to be delay. For example, in my work on proliferation of police checkpoints and distribution of agro products in Nigeria, some of those goods that have been conveyed to this community, to the marketplace, usually they lose their quality, they decay on the road, and a lot of things happens to them. And not only that, it also causes inflation of the commodity, because the police will be demanding so amount, and the conveyor of the goods and the owner of the goods, before you know it, they have spent some huge amount of money, and those money will be, you know, will be subsumed in the cost of these commodities. That's what the women were protesting, that this their products, their commodities, the agro products that are supposed to be at a minimal, easily accessible price are now skyrocketing within the same community. Not that they are being transported from elsewhere, but within. So they are angry and saying that it shouldn't be so, that it should let there be a stop. And for them to ask police to leave their community, it is because it has exceeded what they can bear. And because I can't see people that are meant to protect lives and properties are the ones now
inflicting pains on people.
yes, and the residents and the community people, they're angry. They say this is much and nobody is coming to their aid. For them to take the boldness to go on the street to protest this menace is because the government have put deaf ears. They are not listening to the people's cry. And I think this Delta State incidents or case should be a thing that should call the government in power to investigate and to bring up a proper conclusion, a solution that will checkmate the activities, the excesses of these police officers, because it is much. Yes, we know that they are also clamoring to have money, but they should not do it in a dubious way.
Anyways, clamoring, but the truth is there was an increment which was implemented on the 1st of May. So we hope they can work with that, and we also hope that the government will also look into this matter from Delta State and put an end to some certain things. From Lagos State, a man working to clear a blocked drainage tunnel in the Onipano area of Lagos State got trapped underground. The incident occurred on Monday while the victims, an employee of the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, was attempting to dislodge debris from the drainage. The Lagos State Emergency Management Authority activated its emergency response plan upon receiving an SOS message. The last mile response team and other emergency responders are conducting a search and rescue operation to free the trapped worker using sophisticated equipment and employing strategic effort to divert inflow of water into the tunnel. It's quite unfortunate, but I just want to know, have we not gotten to a stage whereby some necessary equipment should do some necessary work, because we are in an era of technology? Why do we still have people going that underground to go and clear drainage? Are there no machines? Are there no...
Yeah, it is unfortunate that other countries in Africa, like Egypt, South Africa, and so on, they are making great impact in terms of the use of technology, and also some innovative ideologies they are bringing up to make life easy for their people and for the workers. We can imagine the tenacity and the complexity of the drainage system in a place like Lagos. I can't imagine, when I was reading this story, that somebody will have to go into this tunnel with all of those debris and a lot of objects and unmaintained drainages. You know, the fact is that in European and some countries, the drainages are being maintained. I don't know how long it is that the drainage in this scenario was maintained, until this case, tragic case where we're told that a worker has been trapped. So it is very, very unfortunate. But all the same, there are machineries that are able to deseat debris from the drainage system. It does not require humans, people to go into these enclaves, because it is very, very dangerous. It is very, very improper to do that. So the fact is that the government of the state should begin to look inward in terms of deseating the debris in the tunnels. They should borrow ideas from countries that have advanced more than us, whether in Africa or in Europe or wherever. They should try to acquire these machineries. The machineries, they are like suction pumps that when you put them in, they will have to, you know, suck away all those debris, and then they are channeled to the appropriate place where it will be dispensed or destroyed. So the time has risen where we should not continue with the analog idea, because it's not going to help us at all. This man, till this moment, I've not had any story that he has been found. And if we say somebody is trapped, it could be that he has fallen into any of the big ditch, and who can say, who can tell what his state could be? It may be he's dead, or it may be he's unconscious, and who knows the position where he is. So it is
they are
very
saying
quite
that
disturbing.
they are trying everything possible to make sure that they bring him out alive. It does to say that he's still alive. But if they have all this sophisticated equipment to able to track someone there, so why can't they also get this kind of equipment to be able to clean the drainage?
Well, the story is that the equipment have been sent. Who knows what has been sent? Because it was not on the camera, on the television for us to see the equipment. So is it a human tracking equipment or a sensor? So I doubt such
well,
a thing.
we'll follow the story, and from there we'll get to know the kind of equipment that was sent. And we hope that the man will also come out alive.
We pray so.
We pray so. This is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network. See you after the break. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network, and now the rest of our stories on traditional rites. A cleric from God's Grace Ministry reportedly killed a sacred boar in Okeagbo community, Delta State, and fled before he could be apprehended. The reason for the killing is unclear. The incident led to protests by community members who consider the act as sacrilege. They demanded that the cleric and the church perform rituals to cleanse the town and bury the snake as if it were a human being. The cleric, who is from Orogun community, managed to escape from before the protesters arrived. Boas have reverend in Okaigbe community, where they are seen as deities and that provide food and not harmful to human or domestic animals. Okay, so wow, amazing. So Dr. Gosson, we have it here. That's amazing if you look at the picture, and it's quite scary. What we have here is that a cleric, just for you to get it very clear, because this story, I mean, is something that we really have to educate people, because a lot of persons will say, is this not a cake? Is it not something that has passed? Or are we still doing it now? So we have it here that a cleric has reportedly killed a sacred snake that were regarded as a deity in Okwaegbe community in Ogeli South local government area. And that's of Delta State. And the good, I mean, should I say the funny part, they are saying that a cleric must perform the necessary rituals to cleanse the town as well as bury the snake like a human being. What do you think about that in this generation now?
Well, the fact is that it is difficult in some society for people to adapt to modernity in terms of changing traditions and you know, allowing social change. For the community people, they have ascribed powers to this creature. They have taken it as their God, for example, because they have made their, so we call it a totem. It is their deity. And for these people to have held this belief till this day shows that they are not willing to accept any form of transformation, change of certain traditional religious beliefs that is not normally or generally accepted or acceptable. So for them to have taken the snake as a deity shows their enslavement to this creature, because wherever they see it, they prostrate to it, they make incantations to it, or they make sacrifices to it. It is more or less being bound to this creature.
Okay, so now that the indigenous people of Okoebe community praise to the snake, and they also believe that this snake provides and supply them food. But as it stands now, the snake is no longer alive. So how are they going to get food?
No,
Who provides food for them? Or again, are they going to, another deity will come out, or are they going to, I don't know. What happens here?
No, it's a fallacy for them to say that the creature provides food for them. It's mere deception. It is what they have inculcated into their generations to generation. And for them to say that it is naturally, there is nowhere we've seen a snake providing food for any human.
But you were not in that community, so are you supposed to know?
No. I've been in communities where such things are being held, or such beliefs are held. And I find out that it is mere superstitions, that they just have that superstition that this creature is their God, is their provider, is the one that makes their crops to be fertile, is the one that, all of those are just fallacy. The fact is that they just decided to hold on to such a belief based on their thinking, on their thoughts. Now that the creature is no more, does it mean their crops will not do well? Does it mean they are not going to eat? No, it is not. Because we know that there are species of snakes. Boa is still there. So if they have killed one boa, there are still thousands of boas in the bush. So it's to let you know that what they are believing, it is something that they have to change that perception and come out of it. So it is, I know, to me, or to them rather, it is, they held it with all vehement, vehemency. They held to it. That's why they are telling the man, you must bury it like a human being. Yes, in some communities, it is their practice.
But now that, this is a case of, I wouldn't say light and darkness. This is a case of religions, that's Christianity and traditional rights.
Right, yeah.
And then the person in question that killed the snake is, let me say, a man of God. Let me just put it that way. Do you think it will be easy? Because the community people actually stopped that particular church from holding service until that snake is buried as human. And do you think he would do it? And again, remember that when human dies, they would take it to a mortuary in order to be able to maintain the body from being decayed. But now that is snake, and the man is nowhere to be found to perform the rituals, how are they going to preserve the snake?
Well, it's unfortunate the snake itself is decaying. Because, yes, the snake, once a snake dies, doesn't take more than 6 hours. It begins to decay. And what they are trying to claim is that the man has killed their God. And looking at the same man, the man is a Christian, they are traditionalists, and it's kind of opposition. It is opposition because what the man believes is not what they believe. The man is looking at their belief as archaic and seeing it as unchristian. Why they are looking at the man to have committed sacrilege, that the man have killed their gods. So I wonder. So the fact again is that the burial they are looking at, the man will not do that burial.
That's what you think?
That's my opinion.
Are you aware that the community people are so angry to a point that
now
they're
the fact is that the police have to come into this matter. We have a constitution in the country. Yes, the constitution recognizes your belief system. But in a case where such has happened, now the investigation will begin. Where was the man and where was the snake? Could it be that the snake visited the man in the house and the man does not believe in him, so he decided to do away with that?
Then why did he run away?
No, if he has done away with that and the information got to the community that the man has killed a snake, and then the people who saw the snake saw it was their god, the man killed. So the law will have to play its role in this matter because the law has a provision for it. Could it be the snake came to attack the man for not worshipping him or not paying loyalty to it?
A lot of
or
investigation
homage
to be
it?
carried out.
So the police have a lot of work to do.
A lot of work.
A lot of work to do.
Amazing.
It's not that the man will go and do the burial. No, it will be determined by the court or by the law of the country. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. All right, so let's look at the next story for today. I don't even know whether to sympathize with the people of... Okay, let's look at the next story for today. The Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, has mandated point of sales operators in Nigeria to register their agents, merchants, and individuals by July 7, 2024. These moves aim to protect fintechs, so customers' businesses, and strengthen the economic in accordance with the Company and Allied Matters Act 2020 and the Central Bank of Nigerian guidelines on agent banking. Fintech companies including OPay, Mombe, PalmPay, MoneyPoint, and Paystack has pledged to collaborate with the CAC to ensure the smooth implementation of the directive. The registration requirement comes at a crucial time as fintech companies have been involved in a fraudulent transactions, with the waves and POS channels being the most exploited by fraudsters in 2023. But aside from being an avenue, of course, we know that POS is an avenue for job creation, and also it plays a significant role in financial transaction worldwide. Aside that, we also know that one can just start with 50,000, one can start with 20,000, and you know that if you go to see
what the CAC actually want to achieve from the directive is that the POS operators must register.
Yes.
Are they to do it because the fintech, that's the financial institution companies, that's the financial technology companies, the Pampe and the rest of them, should have registered with CSE with their corporate names
before even giving it
before
out.
even giving the POS to. So it is there is a kind of yes, something improper that may have happened. So, but all the same, the directive is that they should register with CSA. Now, with what they said, it has to be individuals. The fact is this: to register with CSA, there are procedures that are being laid down for people that is apportioned to this effect. So the CSC directing that POS operators, I think is going to be very, 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 very difficult for these individuals to be able to meet up to this directive. It will be very difficult, except the entire, that's the fintech companies will have to do it as an umbrella body and use their registration, give to each of these POS units as their representatives based on the POS machine they're operating with, whether money point. So if they are using money point, it means it's money point that should go and register with CSE if they have not.
Okay.
Do you understand, sir? If it is Pampe, the same similar thing. But if it is that this individual POS using this fintech company's machine, that they now on their own should register with CSE, I think there is a conflict of interest in that matter.
I was about asking you before you even mentioned that. Instead of asking the body like Money Point to go for the registration and then send the registration number to all, they're asking individuals. Could it be that this is another way of like making money? I mean, CAC.
The point, yes, the point is that CAC is looking for more revenue. They want to accrue more revenue for the body, for the organization. But I think this idea will have some hitches. There will be some roadblocks towards achieving this directive, because the individuals will no longer come up to do the POS publicly. It will be something most persons will be doing in the house.
A lot of persons are actually doing it in the shop.
A lot of people are doing this in their shop.
Like when I mean shop, like there is supermarket and then POS operation is going in there.
Of course, those companies or those supermarkets, they have their registered name. So are they going to do a double registration? Are they going to do a double registration because they are operating with POS? No, I think it will be wrong. If they've gotten the POS from their banks, the banks are registered with CAC. So if the banks gives them their POS machines, so the CAC should be taxing the banks, because the banks themselves too are taxing the POS operators. There is a common ground where they meet. So that's the way to work better. But if it is that, for example, I have applied for a machine from Pampe and I've been given it and I begin to operate, then CSC want me to go and register under them. No, that would be an excessive.
When you already have
yes, an excessive. They should meet the owners of this machine, and then if they are registered with them, all they can do is that the number of machines Pampe may have should be, relayed or given to the CBN. If they want to start surcharging each of the machine a certain tariff or a certain amount of, that's a different case. But telling the individual operators that have applied for these machines from the different fintech companies to come to CSC, I think it's not clear.
It's not clear.
It's very unclear. So there is need for more clarity from the CSC on what they really want to achieve. The deadline is on the 7th of July, but that's not going to be the end, because I'm sure there will be extension. But they should come up with more clarification so that people will have to understand what they really meant by such directives that has been given.
All right, for the CFC, I mean CAC, I think it is very necessary to put up something that will be easy to achieve and not just making headlines, because if you're waiting for individuals to register, I don't know how that is going to happen. Well, it's best known to you. And then the last story for today is on education. There was a disturbing incident at Silverbird International School in Port Harcourt where a JAS-1 student's family allegedly accosted and assaulted a female teacher, Sonia Amadi, for reportedly flogging their child. The family also locked up the school admin officer, Joy Ajayi, and threatened her. The situation escalated until other parents intervened. The school management has filed a complaint with the Ada George Police Division, and the teacher has been issued a medical form for treatment. A rights group has condemned the assault and invention of the school, urging parents to seek proper channels for redressing instead of taking laws into their hands. Dr. Gosson, how did we get to an area where parents now comes from this house to come and fight teachers in school? I believe before you send a child to school, it's not just to go and learn ABCD, it's also for discipline. And there are so many different measures of applying discipline. So why do parents not come from home to come and fight teachers to an extent of even inflicting injuries on them? We've been hearing about this, but let's look at this, a whole family, not just one person. What do you think?
The parents are totally very wrong for such behavior, for such acts, carrying all their family members to invade the school and assault the teachers in that school. It shows they are unmannered, they are untutored, they are uneducated. It is, if they claim to have been educated, I think they were not properly educated, because it is not acceptable by the law of the country that people should go to schools and their parents should go to school and fight for their children when the case or whatever agitation they have has not been brought before the law enforcement agents or before the court, and then they just want to brutalize the school teachers and all that. They failed the law. The fact is that they are telling that child or that students that they are unable to train that student, because the impression that students will have, maybe the student may feel elated that my parents are fighting for me, but all the same is they are undoing that child, because with such a mentality, the child, if grows with that, or that student grows with that mentality, there is going to be rascality and recklessness in that child. There will be very rude behavior in that child. So the parents didn't do well. And I think the law will take its course on this issue, because the education, the school is an educational environment where children are taught behaviors, they are taught academics, they are taught the necessary things they need to know in terms of making them to become useful to society. So it is not to turn them to be miscreants and turn them to be rude. So the parents didn't do well.
All right,
Yes.
we hope that the law will take its course. And for parents, remember that your children have a long way to go. So whatever thing you do, also think about their future. This is a much we can take on today's society.